Welcome back, everybody. Silas here. I had a random thought in my head the other day, and yes, that's my dog down there making her weird noises that she makes sometimes. But it was super rainy yesterday afternoon. I couldn't do much at the yard, so I went to an antique store, and while I'm walking around, I found a pair of bumper cards for $5. And I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to make a video and show people how they can make money going to antique stores, buying stuff to flip. As you know, most of the stuff at antique stores is priced pretty high. It's usually priced at retail or just below retail. It's not like you can actually just buy it and resell it somewhere else and make money on it. Usually. However, if you pick something that you know something about, like with me, I know something about car parts and art and decor, that type of stuff, things that I've done in the past for over a decade now, then I'm able to go to the antique store, find those type of things, and especially car parts, a lot of times, antique dealers don't know what they are or how to price them. So I'm going to take you guys to a couple antique stores, show you around, buy a few things, and show you how you can go out and have fun going through antique stores and make money doing it. Now there's lots of different things you can look for, and you can kind of pick and choose. Sometimes musical instruments. I think that's really not a bad price right there. Vintage clarinet for parts. But I'm not really into that type of stuff. I like car parts and toys. And so I saw this sitting here. 105. Not in too bad a shape. It's missing the tailgate, it looks like, unfortunately. Oh, I bet it had a battery in it to light up the headlights. That's interesting. A quick little view online sees that these are doing 200 plus. Pretty safe bet. There's none like it on there right now. There's one on there, I should say, and it's at 240, I believe. So there's enough room to where I believe that one there is a good, I don't want to say the word gamble, but we're going to go for it. I would consider the clarinet, other than there's no name at all on it. I can't find any writing, any numbers, nothing. So, I mean, it'd probably be okay, but that's not really what I'm into. So we're going to stay away from that. There's lots of cool stuff in this one. All sorts of neat signs, license plates. There was actually a fan here last time I was here about a month ago, and it was off of a 348, an early 348. And I think I gave $28 for it. I believe I got $2.25 out of that online. And that's what got this whole idea started. I did notice this, a Lorraine spotlight. It says it's NOS. It does look pretty nice. All the bakelite's good. 60 bucks. It does have one small dent right there. Condition is everything on these old spotlights, but overall, I'd say this is a pretty nice example, other than just wear and tear from being scuffed around for a while, and then that one dent right there. But I think it'll be okay. At 60, we'll be fine. I noticed there's a couple gas nozzles down here, but this one's not a bad piece, but at, what was it saying, $85. So that's pretty close to retail, so there's not a lot of wiggle room on that. And they're kind of a pain to package, honestly. These newer aluminum ones aren't really worth a whole lot. Now, I normally just pass over booths that are full of household knick-knack type stuff. I mean, this type of stuff has virtually no interest to me whatsoever. However, I do know that if you're into this type of stuff, you can look at things and know, oh, that's a such and such, that's worth this. And maybe they didn't realize it, especially old books. I know I have had a few books that were worth hundreds of dollars. I got one time at a secondhand store, like a Goodwill. It wasn't a Goodwill, it was some other type of store like that. And it was, I forget exactly what it was, but it was by Booker T. Washington. And it was like a limited edition, and it was pretty old. And I got, I think, 225 or 250 bucks out of that book. But if you're into books, be sure to check stuff like this out. Now, that's pretty cool. What is that? Super Speedmaster Neutral Density Color Analyzer. $25. That is really tempting. It's not too big. I think a guy could fit it in a box fairly easy. And see, well, I think that's really cool. It seems like a good deal. Some of this stuff is, some of it isn't. I found these are similar ones to this, not this exact model, but very similar, same brand, for about 40 bucks. And so for the amount of labor it would take, not worth it. But what a guy could do is gamble on the arts and decor type side of things. That's got a really good look to it. And so instead of listing it as whatever it is, you list it as a decor item, you might be able to sneak 75 to 100 out of it. And then it would be worth it. But I'm not in that mood today, so we're not going to touch it. This is a pretty neat piece. Old lineman tester phone. Interesting, looks a little bit damaged, but we'll check it out. Nope, they're going for about 20. So obviously can't do that. Now here's a good example of where you might find something good. It's all household stuff, and there's a random car part. Got some Ford truck hubcaps. Let's see what they're marked. $15. See, sometimes they don't even bother to look stuff like this up. They're like, oh, a hubcap, $5. I've seen that many times where they're selling this type of stuff, and there's like, I have no clue why that's even in here. So yeah, we'll just throw it in there cheap. 15 might be pushing a little bit. That'd be 30 for the pair. I'll have to look them up real quick, see what the current market is. Yeah, that's current market value online, so didn't get lucky there. 5 would have been a go, 15 not so much. You ever feel like somebody's watching you? You guys kind of freaky looking. Haven't found anything else for a little bit. I saw these. These are Harley Davidson, so I thought maybe they'd be decent. 30 for the pair. That doesn't seem bad. However, they are used. They're rusty inside, and did a little bit of research, and they're going for about 50 is what they're listed for. I haven't seen any sold recently, so that's pushing a little bit. 20, I would take a chance, but at 30, probably not. If I was really slow and needed something to do, I would take a chance anyway. This booth here is actually my mom and my aunt's booth. This is all their stuff. I don't know whose is what in here. This isn't my type of stuff, but they sell a few things out of here. It's not like a big money maker or anything like that, but they do sell a few odds and ends. I was hoping maybe I could find something in here, but I don't see anything I can't live without. These type of booths always crack me up. I mean, they're selling brand new tools at an antique store. It's not a flea market, it's an antique store. But I mean, to each their own. But I mean, stuff like that drill right there and that flashlight, it's like, really? Here's a pretty good booth with a good selection of vintage toys. I like this old Auburn rubber toy car up here. Pretty neat piece. I think it was, what, $8. And then there was another neat one right here. I'm not sure what brand this is, but I thought it was neat. It kind of feels like some sort of hard Bakelite or something. I'm not really sure. But these are, like this car here is 13. These sell for about 20 to 25 in that condition. And then like that one there sells for about 20 in that condition. And so if you just want to do it as a hobby and make little bits of money here and there, you could buy both of those. Now me, I'm just too busy for it. I couldn't give more than, you know, a couple bucks a piece for them and be able to do it. But I'm sure a guy could go through here and find all sorts of cars that you could make, you know, 10 bucks a piece on. And so, you know, come out, spend the day, pick out about 10 cars and make 10 bucks a piece, you make 100 bucks. Pays for your day and you had fun doing it. You'll never be able to support yourself doing this, but I mean, it's just good hobby money. Like there's probably after fees and everything, $150 profit here. So I mean, that's pretty good, but I mean, it's not like I'm getting rich. Oh, here's a set of hubcaps. Ford. Let's see here, how much? 20 bucks. That might be something. If they were in better shape, I would, but I mean, they're pretty beat up. And all of them are beat up. They're all scratched and dented pretty bad. And I mean, they'd probably still, once again, if I wasn't so busy, that would be something I would grab up. But I'm not going to mess with those. If they're in better condition, I'd buy them anyway. But a lot of times on hubcaps, people are looking for ones that are in good condition to put on their car. They'll pay the big money to get the good condition ones. They're not interested in beat up ones. Somebody probably would be eventually, but it would take probably quite a bit of time to be able to make any money on those. And then also there's the storage factor. I mean, those are going to take up quite a bit of room. So if you don't sell them for 6 months, that's a lot of real estate. And here's another example of how you have to know what you're doing on certain items. You got to pick your market, pick your niche, and stick to it. These gauges right here, they want $10 for them, which isn't bad, except for the needles on these are kind of boring. They're glass face, they're pretty old. I sell a lot of gauges online, but if they had the little crescent moon or some other shape on the needle, I would buy this in a heartbeat because I could get, you know, 15 to 20 bucks a piece out of the gauges. But like this, I'd be doing really good to get my $10 back, and my only profit would be the weight of the brass. For me to buy something like this, it would have to be more like 5. And so this is a case here where you just kind of keep an eye on it. You come back once a month or whatever, and if it's still here eventually, they may mark it down. Or every now and then they do store-wide sales of 10 or 20% off. And with that, I'm done in here. I didn't find anything else. I found a few odds and ends, neat little things, but once again, the prices just weren't where I needed them to be able to make any money on them. I understand antique stores aren't supposed to be places where you go to buy stuff to resell and make money. I'm all about finding an adventure, and I love going through antique stores, but if you just go to antique stores and you never buy anything, never do anything, all you're doing is spending time and spending money. But if you can find things that you can resell, then you're able to make money off of your hobby. That's how I got started in business in the first place. When I started redoing bicycles, is I liked bicycles, and so I started fixing and flipping those, and then from there it turned into eBay, and then it turned into whole cars and the wall art type stuff, and it escalated very quickly. And so in 15 years, I went from absolutely nothing to having 20 acres packed with cars, warehouses full of stuff, semi-trailers full of stuff. It got out of hand pretty quickly. Now, the first antique store I went to, the first thing I found, and I actually wasn't even making a video at the time I found it, was these bumper guards here for $5. And that's what gave me the whole idea for this entire video. Then as I'm going around, I found this booth here, clear full of vintage car parts. There's valve covers, carburetors, hubcaps, taillights, you name it, all sorts of stuff, intakes. And I began to look at these carburetors, and they weren't priced too bad in my opinion, depending on what numbers were on them. I saw a few carburetors I wanted, so I was going back up front to get a shopping cart when I found this violin right here for $15. And then I stopped and I found this little Mustang here. I believe it was $7, something like that, and they were doing pretty good online, so I went ahead and grabbed it. I grabbed the shopping cart and started heading back towards the carburetors. I didn't know exactly how many I was going to get, but I knew I was going to get quite a few. I started checking the numbers on them, and any of them that were priced right, I guess, I started grabbing and sticking in the cart. I also grabbed this intake down here. I'll show it in a minute. And then I saw these taillights, and I thought, well, that's not a bad price, $50 for the whole set. So I went ahead and grabbed those as well. He had some more carburetors that I did not grab. He had them priced at $100, and for whatever reason, these were actually worth less than the others. But here's what I did buy, is this whole shopping cart rounded with stuff, and I actually ran out of room inside and had to put one down on the bottom. All right, now we're back in the present, and I have all the stuff right here. I'll show it to you. Here's everything I got at that antique store. A handful of stuff. Like I was saying, he had these priced at like $45, $75, $60, $65. This piece he had at $200 here. And I was going through these, and ones like this one here, in this condition, this is a pretty nice one, should bring around $150. I tried to find them to where I could at least double my money. Some of them actually, believe it or not, where is it at? I gotta find it again now. I don't know where it's at. Yes, I see you. I'm not talking to you though, okay? I'm trying to look at these carburetors. I'm trying to make a video, and you're making it difficult. Yeah, it might have been this one. I can't remember now. I'd have to look the numbers up again. But one of these is actually worth like almost $200. The special number that, for whatever reason, all the ones I could find online were super high dollar. But none of these are actually factory carburetors off of like a 69 whatever. I mean, these are all aftermarket carburetors, but they're all performance carburetors, double pumpers, things like that. And so there's really none of these that are worth less than $100. There's a couple of them that might be a little bit iffy on that. They might be more like 80 to 90, but those are the ones that I only paid 40 or 45 for. All of these more expensive ones are worth well over $100 for sure. And that was what was kind of weird about those other carburetors that you saw there, is that he had priced at $100 a piece. A lot of those on eBay are selling for around 75, and so why he had the cheaper ones priced higher, I don't know. I don't know that he actually took the time to check the values per part number. It may have been just him looking at the carburetor and thinking what he paid for it or what he thought it was worth. I honestly don't know where he got his pricing at. For example, this intake here, he has priced at $200 firm, so he was firm at that price. This intake in this condition is probably going to sell for somewhere around $350 to $400. He had another 4-barrel intake there priced at $150, and those are selling on eBay for about $100. So he had it priced over retail. This one he had priced at half of retail. So I don't think he actually looked each of these items up online to see what they were actually selling for. And so because of that, I had to take my time and actually go through them one by one and check the part numbers. I was there for almost 2 hours digging through these. Well, not that long, probably about an hour and a half, checking each and every single part number to make sure. And I wasn't just checking one or two first listings. I was scrolling down. And some of these, which one is it? Where's that? I think it was, yeah, this one here. This one here is kind of loose on this one end, and you can tell it's been taken apart a few times, and the ends don't quite match the body, and I was kind of iffy on this one at 45. Good condition, these are like 100 and a quarter. But I was looking and just the body on these is selling for about 50. So I figured this one here being complete, even though it doesn't match, I don't know exactly what I'm going to list it for yet. This might be a little bit cheaper one, but I was still okay at $45. But I went through and checked a bunch of other stuff, and like his valve covers, he had those really priced way too high. No, I shouldn't say they were too high. He had them priced just over retail. So if you actually needed one for yourself, it would have been okay. But for me, being a reseller, that was a no-go. So when you're at these antique stores, don't be afraid to look stuff up. If you see a carburetor there, take the time to look it up. Learn how to use eBay, learn how to check sold listings, learn how to check other websites, Facebook, Craigslist, things like that, and find other similar items, see what they're listed for, see what they're selling for, see how many are currently listed. If it's an item that there's a ton of them listed and they're not selling very often, then it better be cheap. But anyway, these taillights, these here, I should be able to at least double, if not triple my money on these. 66 Dart. I think one of them was cracked, but the other's good. The only thing this guy did in his booth that I did not like is the fact that he wrote on everything with Sharpie. All of these are marked exactly what I paid for them in Sharpie. And so when I list these on the internet, I've had this happen before where I list them on there. I listed an instrument cluster one time that they wrote, I think $20 right on the glass on the front of it. And it was like a $100 instrument cluster. So it was a lot of money to be made, but it's got $20 written on it right on the front. And I don't know why people do that. It's not that hard to take and put a tag on these things. You only paid $75 for that. Why are you asking $150? You should sell it to me for $85 and you're making $10. People don't understand that you lose about 15% when you sell on eBay. They only charge 13.25% or 13.5 or something like that, but they charge you sales tax on the entire sale price. And the sale price is the price of the item, the price of shipping, and sales tax. Even though you don't actually get that sales tax, eBay takes that sales tax, pays it for you, all that stuff, they still charge you 13 point whatever percent on that sales tax. I don't agree with that part of it. But when you factor all that in, it comes out to about 15% is what you're going to lose on these. So if you sell it for $100, $15 of that goes to eBay. Now, I very rarely do free shipping. I charge actual shipping. So that's just kind of a wash there. So if I buy a carburetor for, let's say, one that I paid, $45 for. If I sell this one for 90 or say 100, just for easy numbers, there's another $45 one in here somewhere. If I sell it for 100, I get to keep $85. Shipping is a wash, and so I make $40 for my time. Now, I do have to pay for packing materials. I try to reuse boxes. Sometimes I have to buy new boxes, but if you buy the box, it's usually around $2 for a box that size, so that's not a lot of money. I'm still going to make about $35 even after packing materials. It's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes to package that. It took me a little bit to research it. It's going to take me a little bit to list it. So I'll have 20 to 25 minutes invested in that carburetor to make $35 to $40. So you're not going to get rich doing this. I mean, what does that come out to? If you, on a group like this, if you spend a bunch of time and just do it all at once, you're going to make anywhere from 50 to $100 an hour for actual time invested. So that's a pretty good return, not bad wages. However, I may not find anything else at those antique stores for another 2 or 3 months. So it's not like you can do this consistently. This is just extra income. And then once again, here's this piece. I kind of explained the details on this one already, how there's only one that I can find for sale and it's over $200. I found a couple that have already sold for over $200. And so I think this one here is probably worth about the same in this condition. It's in a very similar condition. I did think that's really neat how the headlights actually light up on this with the battery. And so now I'm at the end of the video. I'll kind of explain what I spent, what I expect to make, and a few other little things to you. On this stuff right here, I spent, well, now I forgot. Let me go check. I spent $814 on everything you see on here. That's what I spent. Now, you also have to figure in that's including sales tax. I paid sales tax on all this. A lot of times antique stores don't care if you have a sales tax number or not. They're just there selling retail. You pay retail sales tax. End of the story. Which is, don't even get me started on that. The fact that I paid sales tax and that when I sell this, it's going to get sales tax again. But whatever, we're not going to get into all that. I just chalked it up as part of doing business. And so I have $814 invested into all this. That's all in and done, counting sales tax and everything. I have about an hour and a half invested in all this, time-wise, of going through it all, buying it, loading it up. It'll take me probably another, I'd say 2 hours to get it all, pictures taken and get it all listed for sale. And then I'll probably have another 2 hours invested into getting it packaged. So you could say roughly 6 hours invested into this and $814. I expect to get about $1,500 out of everything that's on this. So what we got to do there is we have to subtract our eBay fees, like I say, 15%, and that leaves us with $1,275. And we subtract, let's just say 815 for easy numbers. That comes out to $460 profit. That's actual profit in my pocket that I'll make on this. Now, I did price a couple of these a little bit lower than what I think they might bring. I had to be conservative on my estimate. I always like to estimate on the low side just to be safe. In reality, I probably make closer to $600 profit on this, but we're just gonna say 460. Let's just say 500. That's a good safe number. It's not super safe, but it's pretty safe. So 500 divided by 6 hours that I have invested, when it's all said and done, that comes out to $83 per hour. So $500 may not be a boatload of money or anything like that, but it's nice extra money. Plus I had a ton of fun going out and going through the antique store. So not bad at all. These two items here, all in and done, I have $187 invested in these. I expect to get somewhere around $350. I'm guessing, once again, conservatively. So we subtract our eBay fees. That comes out to $297. And then we subtract our $187. And that comes out to $110 on these. Now these I don't have nearly as much time in. I have about an hour invested in going through the entire store, finding these and all that sort of stuff. Obviously there's only 2 items here, so I'm not going to have hardly any time invested in taking pictures, listing, and packaging. You could say an hour at the most. So that's honestly probably even too much, probably more like 45 minutes. So we take our $110 and we divide that by 1.75 hours invested, and that comes out to $62 an hour. So even though there's less items, less time invested, the profit on these is $62 an hour for time invested. I'm actually making more percentage-wise on both of these items. So it depends on how you look at it. When I was looking for these, that hour invested, I actually have, 10 minutes invested in these 2 items, and the other part of that hour was walking around the store finding nothing. So I guess if you count your time walking around the store finding nothing as entertainment and you don't count that, then you make really good profit per hour on these. So it all really depends on how you look at it. And maybe you don't count your time of finding the stuff at all because you were going to go to the antique store anyway, and so the stuff is a bonus. And so if you subtract that time, then yeah, you're making pretty good money for your time of listing and packaging and all that sort of stuff. I'm actually editing this part back into the video well after I've already finished recording it. I forgot something really important. You don't have to sell on eBay. You can sell on Facebook Marketplace. You can sell on Craigslist or Nextech. I forget all the different markets out there. Or if you like setting up at swap meets, you can just try to resell the stuff at swap meets. I know people that buy stuff in other people's antique booth and then put it in their antique booth. So I personally prefer to sell on eBay just because you reach a global market, but you don't necessarily have to do that. Just pick your market and you can sell your stuff there. And like I say, remember, this is just what I would call hobby money. This isn't like you're getting rich. This isn't like what you're doing for your full-time job. If you want to do this full-time like I do, you got to hit it hard and heavy. And you've got to do the auctions, the antique stores. You've got to hit up flea markets. You've got to hit up all sorts of stuff. You got to constantly watch Marketplace, garage sales, and I could go on and on and on. I mean, it's a boatload of work to do this full time. But you don't have to do it full time. And if you could do this once a month, you go out shopping around at garage sales, or you like to go to antique stores or flea markets or whatever. And if you do this once a month and you can make $500 once a month, that's not bad. Extra $500 a month, what could you do with that? Now, once again, this is going to take time to make this money. So someone like me, that I have boatloads of items, I list boatloads of items. I have stuff that has been listed for 2 or 3 years, and I'll list something else, and then one of those items that's been listed for 3 years will sell, and that item I just listed will also sell. And so the time frame on the money coming in, if you list a bunch of items, you'll have a steady income coming in. If you only list a few items here and there, you won't have that steady income. So keep that in mind as well. There's a lot of factors to it, but at the end of the day, if it's something you think you might enjoy, and you enjoy the shopping, you enjoy the buying, you enjoy the hunt, then it's worth it no matter what, because at that point in time, it's not about making the money, it's about having fun and getting paid to have fun. So I know this video is really different, that's why I'm putting it on the second channel, but I just thought it was a unique idea because I had people ask me and email me and message me saying, how can I get started in buying and selling and things like that? And so This is just an idea. And if you don't want to do car parts, you don't have to do car parts. Like I say, you can do glassware, you can do books, you can do paintings, you can, I mean, there's so many other things out there. Car parts are just what I know, and so I'm able to see stuff and pretty quickly know if I can make money on it or not. And also beware, not everybody likes flippers. Some people think that flippers drive prices up, and in some ways we probably do. But at the same time, this spotlight that I bought, I know that was there 3 months ago when I was in there. I just didn't look at the price on it, or else I would have bought it then. And so, yeah, I'm a flipper, but I mean, nobody else is buying that spotlight, so what was I gonna do? But I'll let you all go with that. Just an idea for you to be able to go out, find an adventure, and make money at the same time. As always, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. And remember to get out there and find an adventure, and if possible, try to monetize that adventure. And if not, that's okay too. We'll see you on the next one. This is kind of a side note at the end of the video, but I spent all day today. There was an auction that got canceled because of the rain and the mud, and so I spent all day today organizing my garage. It hasn't been this organized since I bought this place. I just moved all my stuff in and stuck it on tables, stuck it on shelves, whatever. This whole area has been full forever. I had that truck sitting over here. All that's gone now, so I actually have room to work once again. I got a little bit more organizing to do back there, and then after that, this is going to be a pretty nice shop to use. Oh, and I got to put some better lights in here. These old junk lights aren't working too good. I need to put some nice LEDs. Just a little bonus clip here at the end of the video, letting you guys kind of know what's going on in my world.